Swadee Khan, thank you for joining us on Newsline. We are broadcasting live on NBT, Radio Thailand FM 88 and on NBT World. It's Friday, December the 26th, and you're with me, Tra Chirakasan. Welcome to today's segment of Thailand Moves Forward. In our first story, the Prayut Chan-o-cha government has delivered its policy report after having assumed power for 3 months, elaborating on how the country is progressing in accordance with the reform roadmap. Prime Minister General Prayut Chan-o-cha announced that the country is currently in the second phase of the reform roadmap. His assessment of the political situation was that it has shown progressive improvement but still remains unsatisfactory for long-term sustainability. Therefore, the government will continue to adhere to 3 main objectives, which are to maintain peace and order and to administer the country during its reform process and to facilitate reformation. The Premier affirmed that reforms will be applied in a timely manner in accordance to the roadmap outlined in the interim constitution. He insists that the government will neither attempt to buy time nor will it use its power in ways that would cause public turmoil or tarnish the reputation of the country. He urged all 19 ministries to take the people's needs into account and function effectively and transparently, adding that bureaucrats will be monitored in their work. On this occasion, several ministers presented the 3-month achievements of their respective ministries, among whom were Interior Minister Anupong Paujinda, who spoke of the protection of the monarchy and the alleviation of people's burdens, and Foreign Minister Thanasak Patimaprakon, who highlighted the success of the government's effort to clarify the Thai political situation to the international community. At the same time, Deputy Prime Minister for Social Affairs Yonghyut Yuttawong reviewed progress of the elimination of social disparities and the fight against human trafficking. Deputy Prime Minister for Economic Affairs Mom Ratchawong Pridiyathon Tewakul, meanwhile, gave a report on the acceleration of state budget disbursement and the tackling of falling prices of agricultural products. Defense Minister General Prawit Wongsuwan says he is satisfied with national security achievements so far, despite a few opposing voices. General Prawit said during the announcement of the government's 3-month achievement review that most people understand how the government approaches various issues and cooperate with the NCPO. He added that the government will continue to work for the country. The defense minister also dismissed claims that his newly appointed role as chairman of the committee that examines the work of the ministers is conflicting, saying that his role was not to find faults with anyone but to promote the implementation of the government's policies. He added that at this point, every minister has done a great job and has been committed to their responsibilities. He urged everyone to remind him if any improvements are needed. The Ministry of Commerce has introduced a new website to serve as an economic database for business operators and general people seeking information on the ASEAN Economic Community, or AEC. According to Commerce Minister Chachai Sarikanya, the website worldwideweb.aecthaibiz.com puts together facts and information involving 8 major trade aspects of 10 Southeast Asian countries and southern China, such as economic potential of each of 76 provinces in Thailand, trade regulations and important developments, border trade statistics, as well as business calendars of each country. The website is intended for Thai and foreign business operators planning to expand their investments in ASEAN countries or certain parts of China. In addition, the website can act as a learning source for those wanting to broaden their knowledge of AEC. General Chachai also suggested that those seeking specific information at a provincial level visit the website of the particular provincial commerce office for in-depth details. The Constitutional Drafting Committee, or CDC, has reached a consensus that there should be no more than 200 senators, and they should be selected from 5 groups, including the military. According to CDC spokesperson Kamnoon Sitisaman, the CDC has resolved that senators should be selected from 5 groups, which include former prime ministers, former members of the House of Representatives, former high-ranking bureaucrats such as former military commanders, presidents of academic organizations, and various other professions. Furthermore, the CDC has agreed to increase the powers of the Senate to propose bills and reform measures, as well as to scrutinize the background of elected prime minister and his or her cabinet before they are royally endorsed. The spokesman of the Constitutional Drafting Committee has assured that the charter drafting process will be straightforward and take into consideration all opinions. CDC spokesman Kamnoon Sitisaman insists that the charter drafters will work for the interests of the country and not for any individual or parties. As he affirmed that the CDC will not be shaken by any criticism, Mr. Kamnoon said that drafters will listen to the voice of everyone while carrying out its duties. He went on to say that CDC will start meeting with public opinions related to the charter drafting from December 26, while more similar activities will take place from January until March of 2015. A member of the National Reform Council has unveiled that more activities will take place to allow students to share their views on various reform issues, including the anti-corruption campaign. Alongkorn Polabut, the Secretary General of the NRC Whip, said that a recent seminar with youngsters and students during December 19th until the 22nd has been well received by young citizens of Thailand. He said that young participants have proposed ideas about political reforms and how to fight corruption, as well as a suggestion to set up a student body in charge of anti-corruption campaign. Mr. Alongkorn added that a workshop on Thailand's reform will be organized in January, while an open stage for vocational students to take part in the reform process will be held in February. The Ministry of Public Health has warned that beer garden operators to strictly abide by the public health laws regarding the sales of alcohol in an effort to prevent brawling and injury among New Year merrymakers. Health Department Director General Ponteb Siri Wanarangsan disclosed that the Ministry of Public Health and local administrative bodies would together inspect beer gardens at New Year's celebration sites throughout the country to make sure the operators were aware of and follow the laws. According to Dr. Ponteb, stringent precautionary measures must be applied to entertainment venues serving alcoholic drinks, as a large number of New Year merrymakers are likely to gather at such places where alcohol consumption often leads to brawls. Dr. Ponteb expects the measures to also prevent drunken revelers from creating nuisance to others. State agencies in Phuket and Phang Nga will today be holding memorial services for December 2004's tsunami that killed over 5,000 people in Thailand on the 10th anniversary of the disaster. The Phuket Provincial Administrative Organization and the Disaster Prevention Mitigation Center Region 18 will be hosting a lecture attended by community leaders, people who live or work in areas with tsunami risk, and those with duties related to disaster response. The lecture is aimed at creating disaster preparedness as well as boosting confidence on disaster handling capacity. Phuket Province's memorial service on the 10th anniversary of the Indian Ocean tsunami will take place this evening at Loma Park on Patong Beach. Prime Minister General Prayut Chan-o-cha is slated to travel to Phang Nga Province today to preside over another memorial service for those who perished in the disaster 10 years ago. The service will be held in Takua Pa district of Phang Nga Province. Of the 6 provinces hit by the tsunami, Phang Nga took the heaviest toll of casualties with 4,225 dead, 5,597 injured, and 1,655 missing. As today marks the 10th anniversary of the disastrous tsunami that took thousands of lives in 2004, we'll take a look at what happened.
No one is quite sure if these waves, these giant waves, will once again strike the shores of Sri Lanka and once again instill fear in the hearts of millions of residents here.
December 26, 2004, one of the strongest earthquakes ever recorded, struck off the west coast of Aceh, Indonesia, triggering massive tsunami waves that cut a path of destruction across borders. Coastal communities in countries around the Indian Ocean were caught unprepared for the enormity of the devastation, as surging walls of water swallowed up lives and livelihoods.
Every direction, the water come and attack me.
And we are not quite understand about what is tsunami.
The only warning it came from people surrounding. It's still like, come on, the water is coming to our land.
Over 230,000 lives were lost, and over 5 million people were affected by the tsunami. A key lesson from this human tragedy was the importance of early warning. When the wave struck, early warning systems in the Indian Ocean were inadequate.
It was like 10 years ago, and it's still fresh on my mind.
The tsunami of 2004 changed the way the world approached natural phenomena. The scale and impact of the disaster forced governments and institutions to react and prepare.
Indian Ocean tsunami was an eye-opener actually for the disaster management community in the region, particularly in the Indian Ocean countries.
The mechanisms to get information to people at risk didn't exist. People weren't educated about the event, and there were no monitoring systems within the Indian Ocean to detect whether a tsunami had been generated, how big it was, and the areas that it might affect.
In the aftermath of the tsunami, the Asia-Pacific region embarked on a collective effort to build greater resilience to disasters. In 2005, the United Nations Economic and Social Commission for Asia and the Pacific, ESCAP, partnered with Thailand and Sweden to set up a trust fund to strengthen early warning for tsunamis. The trust fund has grown to include 7 donor countries and has supported numerous projects and initiatives, benefiting 19 countries in the region. Its work has included training local communities in emergency evacuations, installing new monitoring equipment, and supporting the establishment of the Indian Ocean Tsunami Warning System, the IOTWS, which became operational in 2011. This new system is the cornerstone of the region's heightened level of preparedness for tsunamis.
3 countries, Australia, Indonesia and India, have set up regional systems that can detect tsunamis and then detect earthquakes and then inform people if there is a threat coming by.
Countries across the region have recognized they can do more, much more, to educate and prepare people, even with limited resources. Evacuation and other procedures have become a foundation for disaster risk reduction projects. Many initiatives have been implemented during the past decade, which have built coastal community resilience and strengthened end-to-end early warning systems.
As a region, we have come a long way since the tsunami. We are far better prepared today than we were in 2004. Systems are now in place that we needed to maintain and keep upgrading. There is still much more work to do, especially to ensure that the most vulnerable and remote communities at the last mile are reached with timely warning information. Regional cooperation is key.
The tsunami of 2004 will never be forgotten, and although much has been done during the past 10 years, more natural disasters will occur. Ongoing preparations for disaster events must therefore continue.
These days, Udon Thani province has really developed into a hub of business and leisure, with more than 1.5 million people arriving to the province each year just by air alone. This number is expected to grow substantially as more people are being drawn to Udon Thani's natural and cultural wonders. Kun Panot Si Sinsap recently visited the province and he brings us this report.
The city of natural wonders, a man-made heaven on earth, yet compassing various and easy lifestyle. The poem signifies Udon Thani, an ever-growing city for both businesses and tourism of the Upper Isan or northeastern region of the kingdom. Udon Thani has recently expanded so much and millions of tourists comes here to experience the magnificent beauty that the province has to offer. To give you some figure, just air traffic to this province alone have expanded at a substantial rate from 660,000 in 2008, doubled to 1.3 million in 2013. This does not include traffic to the city by trains and cars from both people within Thailand and our neighbors from Laos, China, and Vietnam. It's clear by the signs that are written in many languages that Udon Thani has become an international destination. Mrs. Anchapan Bunjaran, director of TAT office in Udon Thani, told us that Udon Thani is a province with so many beautiful vacation spots, such as the Red Lotus Sea, a unique natural attraction home to millions of lotus flowers. Prupapat Historical Park. The park's distinguishing feature is its unusual rock formations around which religious shrines has been constructed. These two locations can greatly define Udon Thani as a city of natural wonders. The city is also home to many beautiful temples and shrines, such as Wat Pa Phukon. Going inside, through its beautiful architecture, you will feel like going to heaven. And if you come to this temple on a clear night, you can see a clear trace of the Milky Way galaxy. And to define yet compassing various and easy lifestyle, in Udon Thani there are unique villages like Ban Chieng, an archaeological site located in Nong Han district, which has been listed as a UNESCO World Heritage List since 1992, along with other fascinating archaeological sites in the province. To balance the ancient attractions, there are also modern lifestyle shopping malls such as Yudi Town. By collaborating with various sectors, both public and private, including TAT, Udon Thani is quickly developing into a city that boasts modern amenities, and the province's GDP growth is expanding substantially. According to Mrs. Achapan, Udon Thani has the highest GDP growth rate in the entire country last year. So, a province that has a great combination of modernization but still holds strongly to their heritage, and with various attractions to visit, Udon Thani is a province that you should visit to indulge yourself to experience the wonders the province has to offer. Camera work by Viret Koshasini and Ampanosi Sinsap, NBT World, Udon Thani.
The Public Relations Department, or PRD, yesterday organized the 24th Music in the Garden event as part of its returning happiness to the Thai people during the New Year celebrations. The event was held at PRD headquarters on Soi Ari Sampan, where contemporary and award-winning singers as well as the PRD band was strutting their stuff. An award-winning country singer, Rungrudi Pengpong Sai, who joins the performance each time the event is held, said she was happy to be part of the event and wished everybody happiness and good health throughout the next year. Like any other week, PRD Director General Apinan Jantarangsi was there to chair the opening ceremony and welcomed the visitors. The public is invited to join the event at the PRD Auditorium in Soi Ari, Bangkok, and entry is always, of course, free of charge. And that's the end of today's edition of Thai Moves Forward. Before we take a quick break, let's take a look at the exchange rates and commodity prices.
maintain a strong nation, Thailand is promoting 12 core values for the good of the people. The fifth core value: maintaining preservation of Thai traditions and cultures.
วันที่ 26 ธันวาคมคือวันครบรอบ 10 ปี เหตุการณ์ธรณีพิบัติภัยสึนามิในมหาสมุทรอินเดียที่มีความรุนแรงและสร้างความเสียหายอย่างมากมีผู้เสียชีวิตทั้งชาวไทยและชาวต่างประเทศจำนวนมากกระทรวงการต่างประเทศจึงร่วมมือกับกระทรวงมหาดไทยกระทรวงกลาโหมกระทรวงเทคโนโลยีสารสนเทศกระทรวงวัฒนธรรมกระทรวงการท่องเที่ยวและกีฬาและสภากาชาดไทยจัดงานรำลึกครบรอบ 10 ปีเหตุการณ์ธรณีพิบัติภัยสึนามิในมหาสมุทรอินเดียณอนุสรณ์สถานเรือต่อ 813 อำเภอตะกั่วป่าจังหวัดพังงาระหว่างวันที่ 26 ถึง 27 ธันวาคม 2557 เพื่อรำลึกถึงผู้เสียชีวิตและผู้สูญหายจากเหตุการณ์รวมทั้งสดุดีบุคคลและหน่วยงานต่างๆที่ให้ความช่วยเหลือและการฟื้นฟูผู้ได้รับผลกระทบและสร้างความเชื่อมั่นต่อประชาคมโลกในความพร้อมของไทยในการป้องกันสาธารณภัยในอนาคตนอกจากนี้จะมีการแสดงนิทรรศการจากหน่วยงานราชการเกี่ยวกับการแสดงศักยภาพของประเทศไทยในการป้องกันภัยและลดความเสี่ยงของภัยพิบัติทั้งนี้จะมีการถ่ายทอดสดทางสถานีวิทยุโทรทัศน์แห่งประเทศไทยและสถานีวิทยุกระจายเสียงแห่งประเทศไทย FM 92.5 เมกะเฮิรตซ์สำหรับภาษาไทยและ FM 88 เมกะเฮิรตซ์สำหรับภาษาอังกฤษในวันที่ 26 ธันวาคม 2557 เวลา 17:30 นาทีเป็นต้นไป
Welcome back. You're watching Newsline. Thousands of people continued to be evacuated on Wednesday after being stranded by floods in Malaysia's eastern peninsula. Local newspapers said residents were warned to avoid coastal areas and river mouths as tides were expected to reach their peak over the next 2 nights, adding that in Kelantan the number of evacuees has risen to over 20,000. Incessant heavy rain continues to force many to evacuate their homes and head to relief centers set up across the state. Eastern Peninsular Malaysia is regularly hit by flooding during the annual northeast monsoon. According to the latest figures this year, nearly 60,000 people have been evacuated due to the floods, mostly from the east coast. There was no ice, but plenty of sangfroid for the traditional Christmas Day dip yesterday at Berlin's Orakisi Lake. About 30 members of the Berlin Seals, a winter swimming club, rose themselves with carols before donning Santa hats, bathing costumes, and running into the water. This year's water was approximately 5 degrees Celsius, not the coldest it has ever been, but enough to reap the after effects, according to swimmer Sabine. The Seals have been braving the low temperatures since 1980 and plan further dips on January 1st, as well as on the 11th. And that's it for today's edition of Newsline. For any comments or suggestions, please feel free to email them to us at newsline.nbt@gmail.com. You can also follow us on Facebook. Just simply type in NNT or check out our website at thainews.prd.go.th/newsing. We're going to say goodbye with footage of Christmas Mass in the biblical town of Bethlehem. I'm Tra Thirakosan. Have a wonderful day. Swadika. O'er the fields we go.